Hello friends and welcome back to a long overdue Chops vlog. It has been round about 4 months since my last video. Sorry, my career took a few steps forward and I ended up moving all right around the same time. At that same time, a few other things were going on that kind of just threw my schedule into a blender and prevented me from having a really consistent time to log on and play, much less log on, play, record video, edit video, upload video, and all that. Hey, look at that guy. Anyways, all that's kind of settled down now, and I'm back in a place where I feel like I can at least semi-consistently get some videos out for you guys. So that's all the promise I'm going to make about it right now. It's at least going to be semi-consistent. We'll see. With that said, this first video, there are some big things we need to talk about. There are a couple of really massive changes coming down the pipeline for free-to-play and level 20 twinks specifically, as well as, obviously, if you're looking in the background of the video here, some progress has been made on the pseudo-completionist project that I've been working on. So let's jump right into those. I'm going to go to a gear close-up here so we can talk a little bit more about some of those changes. Open my character pane. All right. So, oh, hey, by the way, this is my character. I don't think I've ever, introduced her on screen before. But, hey, yeah, Chops. Anyways, the first big change that's live on the PTR currently is steady Talicites. These +4 armor, +6 stamina gems have been nerfed to their appropriate level. They now read as 1 armor and 1 stamina, though they give 2 armor. So they are +2 armor, +1 stamina on the PTR. Huge nerf, which is good. It's what Blizzard should have done. But it completely obliterates my build of my warrior, as well as just about anybody else who kind of built their warrior around a whole lot of stam and then letting Crusader procs carry most of their damage, which is exactly what I did. It means we're going to have to do a complete regem, which for free-to-plays is going to be a bit gnarly. Luckily, I have some gems stashed away in the bank, so it won't be too big of a project. I'm going to be going to +2 strength, +2 stamina gems. If you're playing a warrior, that's generally what I would recommend. If you're playing another class, I would replace any Talicites you have with, say, 2 int, 2 verse, 2 int, 2 haste, maybe 2 agi, 2 crit, 2 agi, whatever the rest of your gems look like. That would be what I would replace them with. Maybe you want some stamina gems in there too, really up to you. But I think at this point, the two main stat, 2 secondaries, or 2 main stat, 2 stamina, definitely outweigh trying to do a half-assed Talicite with the +3 stamina gems. I just don't think that's worth it. So throw some more damage on, basically, is where you're going to be going with that. For free-to-play specifically, the next big change is that level 28 greens. Hey, I'm going to show off my socket green, my socket ring. Yay! Quick aside, this took me 150-ish hours of farming in Nazmir. I'm very excited to have that farm done. Anyways, socket greens like this, these level 28s, are going to become grandfathered for free-to-plays. Yes, technically you can still get level 28s by farming Legion epics, but those are so few and far between, it's not something you should realistically count on as part of your build. For instance, I will periodically farm for an level 28 socket ring to replace this one, but we're talking I am at the end of my gearing. It's not something I'm planning on in my build. And it's not something any of you should plan on. So for all intents and purposes, level 28s will be grandfathered for free-to-play tunes. This is because the short explanation is that Drustvar and Nazmir, which are the 2 zones in the game that we could farm these in on a level 20 character, are going from a floor of level 25 to a floor of level 20, which means the mobs are going from 25 to our level, which means they're not going to be dropping the higher eye level gear. If you are working on a free-to-play twink, if you're considering building one and you want the eye level 28s, now's the time. If you're a vet and you can buy stuff off the auction house or you can farm it on a higher level tune, whatever, don't worry about it. But for free-to-play tunes, this is a big deal. Well, okay, let me back that up a little bit. It's a big deal for free-to-play tunes who rely on a heavy amount of mastery for most of their damage or mitigation. I'm thinking here like of warlocks, shaman. I don't know anybody else off the top of my head immediately that requires a lot of mastery, because Burning Crusade gear, these like multi-socket boots, multi-socket gloves and belt and stuff like that, offer more than enough damage. I mean, you're talking about, say, like, I'm going to give up 1 socket for 5 mastery. And there's very few specs on which that makes perfect sense. You know, maybe you do give up 1 socket for 5 mastery, but man, like 2 int or 2 strength or 2 agility plus 2 stam or plus 2 crit, in place of, say, like 5 mastery here or 5 haste there, like that's a toss up. So I wouldn't actually really panic about losing access to eye level 28 gear on a free to play, unless you're one of those few specs for whom mastery is like the end all be all. Your Destro Warlocks, for instance. So those are the 2 big changes that are coming for free to play that you need to know about. I'm going to pause recording. I'm going to get a drink. My throat's getting a little dry. So then we can talk about the progress that I've been making personally on this completionist project that I've been working on. All right, we're back. And as you can no doubt tell, I am done with the Burning Crusade. I am in Northrend. I know that I didn't get a whole lot of that recorded for you guys. I think the last video I did was Zangar Marsh, and I was moving into Nagrand. Maybe I'd done a little bit of Nagrand. I don't remember exactly. But that was it. The rest of the expansion was done kind of in fits and starts here and there when I had time to play. And when I wasn't grinding out that socket ring. Oh my God, that took me so long. Anyways, I got all the questing done that I could do. I got all the exploring done I could do. I maxed cooking. I maxed fishing. I maxed engineering. The only thing that I have left to do in the Burning Crusade is a few reputations. And if you are familiar with the Burning Crusade, you can no doubt guess what those reputations are. They are Ogrilaw, the Shatari Skyguard, and Aldor and Scryer Grind. I also have to do Honor Hold, but that'll be pretty quick. I've got a few more Shattered Halls runs to do, and I'll be getting a few of those Honor Hold gems that you can get. They're 3 stamina, 4 crit. Now that Talicites are nerfed, they're pretty good. They're unique equip, so you can't put a whole bunch of them in your gear, but you can put 1. And I want to get a few so that I can make multiple sets of gear. Anyways, that's beside the point. I'm done with the Burning Crusade. All that is to say, yeah, I'm finished. There's a few. I wasn't going to let like the daily quest grind of Ogrilaw keep me from. Oh yeah, that's where I cross over there. Okay, keep me from moving into Northrend because that's going to be a long process. So I just went ahead and moved into Northrend. In hindsight, looking back on the Burning Crusade, I remember talking a lot in those initial videos about how excited I was to start it because I remember the Burning Crusade as being my favorite expansion. I liked it aesthetically. It was, when I was playing seriously, it was the expansion that I took the most seriously. I was in a hardcore raiding guild at the time. We were a really good guild at the time. I was a top DPS player in that guild. We did a lot of server firsts and raid boss kills. It was a good time. So I look back on the Burning Crusade fondly and was very excited to kind of relive that experience by questing through it on my free-to-play. Those are really, really thick rose-colored glasses. About the time I finished up Tarot Forest, I was exhausted of the Burning Crusade. The questing zones feel extremely disjointed. Like, you have Hellfire Peninsula, which is just red. It's just red, and everything in it is red. And you go into from there into Zangar Marsh, and everything's just kind of blue. And it's just this very harsh transition, accompanied with an just immediate change in the fauna of the area. The wildlife is immediately different. All of the plants and stuff. Basically, Outland was like 5 or 6 zones that had been independently created that were all kind of cool, but then smashed together that made no coherent sense on the whole. And the storylines didn't really work towards a grand narrative. They were just kind of clustered. I mean, there were some fun ones, like a lot of the Blades Edge Mountain quest lines were kind of funny and enjoyable. A lot of the Tarot Forest ones were very like dour and serious, but good. But also, like, on the whole, it just, man, it wasn't great. And I can go back and I can, on my 60, I can run through like Kara, I can run through Zulaman, I can run through the Black Temple, and I really appreciate the way that those raids are designed. And I can look back on the mechanics of the bosses and really appreciate that those were sort of like the high point of raiding in the game, at least for me. But the on the whole, man, I've got to demote the Burning Crusade as a favorite expansion, even though it is the only expansion I ever played in full when it was released. I really did not enjoy it for how much I thought I would. That's not saying that it's bad. Okay, because some of it was kind of bad. That's not saying that it was awful. It's just that, like, I really thought I would love it, and I ended up just kind of being like, man, we gotta be done with this. So I am very excited to move into Northrend. Like I said, I was in a hardcore raiding guild. My guild progressed into the Wrath of the Lich King, and we just kind of had to rush. We were rushing from 70 to 80 to get into Nax because we were trying to compete for, still compete for server first and stuff like that we thought were important back when that meant something. So I just had to rush through it on my hunter, and I also was transitioning at the time to playing a Death Knight, and so I also had to rush my Death Knight. So I didn't really get to play through much of Wrath of the Lich King at all. I leveled it through Howling Fjord, or not Howling Fjord. I leveled it through Borean Tundra up into Sholazar Basin and Dragonblight, and then was getting ready to push into Nax. So actually, this is my first time ever leveling through Howling Fjord. It'll be my first time ever leveling through Grizzly Hills. I did some leveling in Zuldrak, I think, back in the day. But for a lot of the Wrath of the Lich King, it'll be my first time getting to experience some of these zones. And I mean, I've been here before. I've done mat farming and stuff out here, and a few things in terms of like getting the riding turtle, the swimming turtle, and stuff like that. So I've been out here, but it'll be the first time I've ever like quested through it, and it'll be my first time kind of experiencing Wrath of the Lich King as a story and expansion, as opposed to just kind of rushing through it to try to get into Nax. Well, that said, my raiding career kind of came to a halt shortly after we cleared Nax because the guild kind of fell apart and broke up. And it was around that time that I discovered twinking. And so rather than continuing to pursue endgame and Wrath of the Lich King, I stopped and really started twinking seriously. at the end of Wrath. So Wrath also happens to be the expansion that I played the most but know the least about. As far as like the first, I think it was after like 3.1 that I don't know anything else about Wrath after that. Maybe 3.1.5, I don't remember. So this is very exciting for me. This is going to be a huge just glut of new content for me to go through that I have never actually experienced before. Unlike the Burning Crusade, where it was stuff I was very eager to relive, and on second pass didn't live up to my memory of it. This is stuff I've never done. I've never quested through here. The whole of Howling Fjord, the whole of Grizzly Hills. I've never done any of those quests. So this is very, very exciting. With that said, I'm going to stop rambling. I'll throw it to time lapse for a bit and let this video run out some time with some chill hop and some questing. Thanks for watching as always, and I will see you guys next time, which I promise is going to be sooner than 4 months from now.